Good afternoon, everybody, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. And welcome to our 2024 Sri Lanka webinar series, which we have called Sri Lanka with Sanka. So Sanka, as you can see, who's joining me today, is our general manager in Sri Lanka, and he's our expert on all things Sri Lanka. He knows everything about the destination, and yeah, he's going to give us a bit of an insider's guide today, or what we kind of also called a beginner's guide. So for those of you who maybe haven't sold Sri Lanka yet, or perhaps did back in the day and haven't sort of need to touch up on a few things and a bit of your knowledge, this is the webinar for you. And before I hand over to Sanka, just to let you know, please do ask any questions throughout, and I can ask them to Sanka at the end. And if you're having any problems hearing or seeing the screen, then just let me know as well, and we can address that. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to hand over to you now, Sanka, to take us through all things Sri Lanka.
Thanks, Liv. Welcome, everyone, and thanks for your time, and thanks for joining in. We have a comprehensive list of things to look at. So without further ado, let's jump in. Before we start, I just want to give you a little bit of an overview of what Sri Lanka had been doing for the last year, and then what the new trends are, so that way you have an idea about where to position the country. So during the past couple of months, Sri Lanka had been in the news, New York Times had a list of 52 places to go in 2024. Sri Lanka was there. Forbes came up with a list for solo travelers for the entire world, and in the top 10 list we were there. And then just thought I would drop in this line where just to show you that the profits, touch wood, were off the scale when it comes to December, which only shows that how the numbers have kept on increasing. We have been increasing our reservations team. So during the last couple of months, we took in 2 more people, and then we are taking 2 more people in again. And because quite frankly, the numbers of inquiries keep going up and up, and then good problems to have. And then we are finding it a little bit hard, so we are expanding the team as well. So before we jump into the destination, thought I would just quickly talk to you about some new trends that we've been seeing throughout 2023, and then during the last month of 2024 as well. So as you can see, slow travel is taking control. It had been like a trend for the last 2 to 3 years, but we are really seeing the trend happening right now. Earlier, T-Trails used to be 2 nights, Ella used to be 2 nights with 9 skies, but now we are saying 3 nights, 4 nights. So everybody wants to take it slow, not just rush through. So the number of the number of nights for the itinerary had gone up as well. So now we are seeing 14 nights, 20 nights, those kind of itineraries as well. And last minute bookings, yes, I mean, like today we just yesterday we got a confirmed booking for tomorrow. I mean, like these are not just travelers who are looking for Sri Lanka, who are in the budget category, but really high-end clients who are looking at Amman, T-Trails, Santani. So those kind of last-minute bookings are rolling in as well. And sustainability is another key point. So we have been changing our experiences throughout the last couple of months. We'll be talking about that during the presentation, where we are incorporating small aspects of sustainability into these experiences, because quite frankly, the clients love this actually. And then the luxury image of the company, of the island, is a really big point as well, because maybe 3-4 years back, people were a little bit hesitant to come frequently to Sri Lanka in their private jets, and then now we are seeing lots and lots of private jet inquiries, and then really high-end clients considering Sri Lanka as a luxury destination. So yes, unique selling points. So I would say why people would come to Sri Lanka and not go to our competitors like Cambodia, Thailand, India, is because number one point would be how small the country is. Because going from one place to the other is like so easy. We have Cinnamon Air flights with scheduled flights happening. Charters can be done for Cinnamon Air, and then for helicopters as well. And then in a small country like this, you can be like 32 degrees in Colombo in the morning, and then 15 to 16 degrees in the hill country in the evening. So getting from one place to the other with contrasting weather patterns is like one of the unique selling points. And on top of that, we have cultural and wildlife and nature-based UNESCO World Heritage Sites, which everybody wants to talk about. And we have Sri Lanka with wildlife as well. So just like the African continent having big five, we Sri Lankans have our own big five as well. So the big five in Sri Lanka would be leopards, bears, elephants, sperm whales, and blue whales. Again, leopards, bears, elephants, blue whales, and sperm whales. So, and also we have turtles. So when it comes to turtles, there are 7 sea turtle species in the entire world, and out of that, 5 of them come to Sri Lanka to lay eggs. And then 34 endemic bird species are there. So these 34 birds can't be seen anywhere else in the world, only in Sri Lanka. And then the third one would be the golden beaches. So as you know, Sri Lanka being an island, we are surrounded by the Indian Ocean, and then there are so many beautiful and hidden beaches that we can focus on. So maybe 10 years, 15 years back, everybody was talking about Hikkadua or Mirissa, but now we have some other destinations that are popular, like Hirikatia, Pasikuda, Arugambe. So Arugambe had been in the map for a long time, but still it is coming back because of Kumara National Park. So I'll be talking to you about that as well. Okay, so monsoons. So when you are coming up with an itinerary, understanding the monsoons of Sri Lanka is very important, because there are 2 monsoons. There are intermonsoons that are happening as well, but at this stage, I don't want to make things complicated. So think of it as like the western and southern coast is going to have the southwest monsoon during the months from May to October. So from May to October, we are coming to that season in like 2 to 3 months time. So from May to October, the weather is really good on the eastern side of Sri Lanka. So like Trincomalee, Pasikuda, Arugambe. So during May to October, those are the beach destinations for you to be. And then vice versa. So from November to April, it is raining on the eastern side of the country. And then that's why during Christmas and New Year times, everybody is flocking towards the southern and western coast. So again, from May to October, it is raining on the western and southern coast. So therefore, we take our clients to the eastern coast from May to October. And then from November to April, it is raining on the eastern coast. And then during this time, we take our clients to the western and southern coast. So the inner part of the country, like the cultural triangle. So the word cultural triangle is actually about 3 different ancient kingdoms of Sri Lanka: Anuradhapura, Polonnaruwa, and Kandy. So that's why it is called a triangle. So as you can see from the picture, there is like towards the top middle part, there is a white color temple. So that is where Anuradhapura is at. And then towards your right, you will see a city called Habarana. So on top of that is Polonnaruwa. So that is the second point. And then right in the middle, you will see Kandy with a building. So these 3 points collectively create the cultural triangle of Sri Lanka. So this is not to be confused with the Golden Triangle. Golden Triangle is in India. Cultural Triangle is in Sri Lanka. So everybody who wants to have a look at the 2,500 years of culture, history, and heritage of the island goes to this part of the country. So this part of the country does not get affected by the monsoons, but that being said, it is not 100% static comment, because there could be like intermonsoons that could be happening. So this area is very dry. So whenever you are sending your clients to the cultural triangle, especially places like Anuradhapura and Sigiriya, you have to tell your clients that it's going to be very hot. So make sure to bring your sunscreen, your hats, drink a lot of water, like me. So this area is very famous for sites like Anuradhapura, Sigiri Rock Fortress, Polonnaruwa, Dambulla, and Kandy. So these are 5 UNESCO World Heritage Site cities, and we are totally focusing on them. But of course, that being said, we have our alternatives as well, because when the presentation goes on, I will talk about some alternatives, because it could be very crowded during certain times of the day. So in order to avoid that, we have our alternatives as well. Okay, so let's start off with the cultural triangle. So this is a picture of the UNESCO World Heritage Site of Sigiriya from the top. So Sigiriya Rock Fortress was built by a king. I mean, like, I'm not going to bore you with when it was built, which king built it, like the story, whole thing. Like, you can just Google it and then find the whole thing. Otherwise, I'll be like sitting here for like 2 to 3 hours. So the story goes as there is this rock fortress in the middle of the cultural triangle, and then you climb to the top, and then climbing to the top is going to be a bit hard for people with walking disabilities. And then once you're at the top, we have this amazing ruined castle that you can see. But along the way, there are so many things that you can see as well. So say, for an example, the frescoes are there, and then the mirror wall is there. So some say the mirror wall is like the inspiration for the Facebook wall, where I know like everybody keeps like posting, because that wall had the same concept like 1,500 years ago. So people who came to visit Sigiriya Rock Fortress like millennia ago would leave comments about how beautiful Sigiriya was. So I mean, like, it's a pretty close comparison actually to Facebook wall. So in this presentation, I will not be going into details about certain like generic stuff where I know like you can do without like a hosted experience, because there is so much to do in Sri Lanka. So like I said earlier, time is limited. So I will be focusing on hosted experiences, and I'll be talking to you a little bit about some excursions as well. So here we have onto our left the backroad cycling journey in Anuradhapura. So this can be done in cycles or in tuk-tuks. So we have a historian who is an amazing guy. So he actually walks the army, like he actually preaches what he like talks about. He actually like practices what he preaches about. So he doesn't drink alcohol, he doesn't eat meat. So I mean, like, he lives a life of a monk. So I mean, like, he's like this Zen dude who comes out and then talks amazing I mean, like, shows an amazing area of the country. So why we call it the back roads is because we are not going into the main how should I say this, the most touristic places. So we are cycling through the villages, and then like going through paddy fields, and then waterfronts, and then coming into certain important areas of the Anuradhapura kingdom, because we don't want to temple out your clients, because for us Sri Lankans, each one of these mega like structures are like so beautiful, so really cool, because like there's this history behind it. But for your clients, once they see like one temple, it's going to be the same type of temple over and over again. So we don't want to like temple them out. So that's why we are very careful in like curating these experiences, where we don't overload our clients with information, history, and culture. So it's a mix of local village lifestyle and culture as well. So onto your right is another experience where we talk about the backroads village lifestyle. So some people are not interested in seeing temples at all. So this is an experience that takes you through the actual village lifestyle between Sigiriya and Kandalama. So no temples at all, but here we are talking about the agricultural aspect of Sri Lanka. So how the ancient kings built these amazing large tanks, and then how paddy fields were grown, and then what techniques were used, what architecture was used. So that's the kind of experience that we have. So these two experiences are in the cultural triangle, which involves cycling. Then we have another one called the forest monastery experience with the hermit monks. So here this is very unique, because oh, before I say that, talk about this, I need to tell you that this is not for everyone. So I mean, like, somebody who is really interested in spirituality, learning a little bit about what Buddhism is all about, what Lord Buddha taught. I mean, like, we won't be talking about religion actually, because as you know, Buddhism is not a religion, it's a way of life. So here we have one hermit monk who doesn't have a home, who lives in the jungle, who lives in caves, and then we take our clients to a 2,500-year-old forest monastery, where the clients will see, like monks living in caves. They have no earthly possessions, so they just have a couple of robes folded in a corner, and then that's about it. So their entire life is all about meditation. So like I can't explain it to 100% because it's a Zen kind of vibe you get once you're in that location. So I mean, like, you have to be there to experience it. So that is the kind of spiritual experience that we have, which we try to couple it with Anuradhapura. So normally how we do it in our itinerary would be like cycling in the morning in Anuradhapura or tuk-tuk ride, and then have lunch afterwards in the evening, go to this hermitage, the forest monastery, and do this experience. And then, of course, I talked a little bit about Sigiriya, and on the second photo to your right, you will see the Sigiriya rock in the background. And we have a sunrise breakfast experience in another rock closer to Sigiriya Rock Fortress. So we climb that rock, have a nice spread and in the morning, and then watch the sunrise, and then see the Sigiriya Rock in the background as well. So if the clients want, they can go and climb Sigiriya as well. So these are some of the other cultural sites that are there in the area. So Sigiriya we all already talked about. Polonnaruwa, I would say, is a miniature version of Anuradhapura, because Anuradhapura was the kingdom of Sri Lanka for more than 1,000 years. So the ruins are really extensive. Polonnaruwa is a smaller version of that, but another ancient city as well. So if somebody wants to see ruined castles, then definitely you would have to go to Polonnaruwa, because Anuradhapura doesn't have any castles. It's all about like Lord Buddha statues, temples, architecture, ponds. So it is more of a spiritual aspect. And then in Polonnaruwa, you can do the experience through cycles as well. And then we have another monastery, which is called Ritikala Monastery. So this is actually a hike. So somebody who wants to do a little bit of a hike inside the cultural triangle, this would be a great one. Again, another hermit monk would be doing it, or a historian. So I mean, like, we always say hermit monk or historian, because sometimes these monks, they go missing for like months. But like, we have a good collection, because why they go missing is like, sometimes when they go into deep meditation, they just don't come out of the forest, and then they switch off their phones, and then we can't find them. So we have, because of that, we have some a good collection of monks that we use as well. So why I told that is because we are really into getting the real historians and then the hosts into our experiences, where we are not getting somebody with a degree on meditation or spirituality to talk about spirituality. We are taking someone who actually walks the path. And then Yapahua Rock Fortress is another rock fortress, which could be a substitute to Sigiriya Rock Fortress. But I have to be frank with you, if you are looking for a similar experience like Sigiriya, Yapahua would not be, might not be the place for you. But Yapahua is very quiet, because Sigiriya being very famous and the most visited site in Sri Lanka could be a little bit crowded. So I'll be touching on this topic later on. So if somebody wants to have a quieter experience, then Yapahua Rock Fortress would be the ideal place. And then Dambulla. So the picture that you see on the screen is that of Dambulla. So this is a very quick experience, I would say, because 20 minutes to climb to the top, and then 1 hour to explore, 20 minutes down. So within like 2 hours, you can finish off this experience. So, and then we have Aukana and Sesero Buddha statues. So if somebody is interested in Lord Buddha statues, these could be the ideal ones. So before I go into the next section, let me tell you how the itinerary of Sri Lanka would work. So I will be talking about the general itinerary. I don't want to complicate it with like reverse routes and then lesser known areas, because this is like a introduction into Sri Lanka. So if you want, just get in touch with me. I have more advanced presentations that I can do for you. So in this case, Colombo Airport would be the starting and ending point in all Sri Lanka itineraries. So the Colombo Airport is located in Katnayaka. You will either stay close to the airport, or else you stay in Colombo. Colombo we'll be talking about later on. So one night there, and then you have the option of taking a Cinnamon Air flight, which is a daily flight, goes at 10:30 a.m. From Colombo Airport. And then if you bring your clients at 8:30 a.m. or before into Sri Lanka, then you can directly connect to that flight and then fly to the Culture Triangle. So the drive from Colombo to Culture Triangle could be like 4 to 4.5 hours, which could be avoided if you take the Cinnamon Air flight, which is just 30 minutes flight. About the Cinnamon Air flight, it is an 8-seater flight, and then it is a smaller one, but very cozy, and then that can be chartered as well. So normally in the Cultural Triangle, we try to keep our clients there for like 3 nights, minimum 2 nights. I mean, like, I would never bring them to the Culture Triangle for 1 night because there's so much to do, and then it's a long drive to get there, or even if you're taking a flight. So 3 nights would be minimum, 4 nights would be ideal. Could do like a nice slow-paced cultural experience. And then when it comes to other areas that we can do in the Cultural Triangle except culture, we have 2 national parks. So one is Wilpattu National Park, where we get leopards, bears, and elephants, and then Minneri National Park, which has elephants. So I have put the phrase the gathering. So before I talk about the gathering, let me give you something that is like known to you. So everybody must know about the wildebeest migration in Africa. So something of the similar scale, I mean, like I would say a smaller scale, but something similar happens in Sri Lanka as well, where towards the latter part of June and early July, all the elephants in the Cultural Triangle, like in the Vaskamo National Park, Maduroya, so everywhere, they start walking towards one water tank because water is gonna get scarce. It's the drought period, and then everybody, all these elephants remember from their genetic memories that when the water goes low, we need to go to this one water tank. So during the months of July, August, and maybe first week of September, you can see maybe like 200, 250 elephants around your jeep, which is quite amazing actually. So I mean, like if you are sending clients to Sri Lanka during that time, I would say the gathering at Minneri is a must. But in Minneri, we only have just the elephants, no leopards and bears. I'm sorry, I keep looking towards my left to just check on my time. So in Wilpattu, you get everything. So leopards, bears, and elephants. And then to get to Wilpattu could be a little bit of a drive. So if you are at Ulagalla, which I'll be talking about in the next slide, if you are at Ulagalla, then of course I would always say do the Anuradhapura backroad cycling in the morning and then do Wilpattu safari in the evening. So that could be a really good day. So if you are doing Minneri, then of course I would say do Polonnaruwa in the morning and then Minneri in the evening, because if you do those 2 activities on 2 separate days, you could be, you know, like going down the same road to get to the other one. The clients would be like, we were here yesterday as well, so why are we coming here on the next day as well? So couple it like that, where, you know, like again, Anuradhapura backroad cycling or tuk-tuk drive with Wilpattu National Park, Polonnaruwa with Minneri National Park. So this is Uga Ulagalla. So I have taken like one property from each area because I will not have time to cover everything. So Uga Ulagalla, all the rooms have private plunge pools. Starting room category is a pool villa, which is onto your top left corner. And then they have 5 deluxe pool villas, which are ideal for families. And because in the living room, you can put 2 extra beds for the kids. And then there's a smaller washroom as well. And then the highest room category is a Nikavava suite, which is a 2-bedroom unit. So the Nikavava suite is ideal for kids of like 8 and above, I would say, or 10 and above, because there are some areas in the pond, if the kids are smaller, you know, like they could just fall off. So therefore, younger kids are not recommended for the Nikavava suite. Okay, moving on to the next location. So we started off the journey in Culture Triangle, if you are flying directly from the airport. And then now we are going towards Kandy. So Kandy is another UNESCO World Heritage City that we have. So Everybody is talking about Kandy like another cultural site, but we do not promote Kandy like a cultural city, because we understand that once the clients come to Kandy from the Sigiri area, they would have been like they would have seen enough and enough of culture of Sri Lanka, like rock fortresses, ancient cities, ruined cities. So we do not want to overload them with more culture here. So the Kandy City Walk that we have with the resident expert is more of a lifestyle journey. So I mean, like you would go into a local restaurant and then like start cooking up a couple of meals and then walk towards like the Temple of the Tooth. But if they want, they can go in. Otherwise, we would talk about the history and the architecture, and then we would go into one of the, I would say, eccentric, because not sure whether you've heard of Helga's Folly. If you have time, just Google it. It's one of the weirdest places in Sri Lanka, but like it has an amazing story. So they themselves say it is an anti-hotel, but the story behind it for a quick 20-minute, 30-minute visit is amazing. It could spook you out, but still, what we are trying to like showcase there is like this is the house of a local Candian person. So I mean, like it's different, but still it has an amazing story. I mean, like just to give you a little bit of an idea, people like Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, like UK rock bands like Stereophonics, they've stayed there. And then the owner is Madam Helga, the UK rock band. They wrote a song about this place, and then the owner, it came to the top #4 in the UK top charts, if I'm not mistaken. So there's a beautiful story behind it, even though I said it's weird. Oh, I couldn't talk about Knuckles. So Knuckles is another UNESCO protected mountain range in I would say the district of Kandy, but this is not in the city. So as you may know, Knuckles is a hike, so it could be like a full day or half day, depending on which route you want to take. And one of the most important things that we tell to our clients is like Knuckles is away from the Kandy city. So if you are staying in places like Candy House or like W15, so you have to drive like 1 to 1.5 hours from your hotel to get to the starting point of the hike. So that is a must, because early in the morning you'll be driving, but once you're there, it is totally worth it, because it has an amazing hike that you can do, really good viewpoints. There are waterfalls that you can bathe in, so it's an amazing day that you can enjoy. Okay, the Peco Trail. So you might have heard Peco Trail because it had been in the news for some time. It won some awards. BBC also recommended it so many times. And Peco Trail is a collection of 22 hikes and trails. And then the total collection of this trail is 300 kilometers. So this is actually an alternative that we're using for hikes like Knuckles, Horton Plains, Adams Peak, which had been there for the last 30 to 40 years. So if somebody wants to do a hike off the beaten track, then of course Peco Trail would be the ideal hike to do. So just because I say Peco Trail is a hike, it doesn't mean that there is only one hike. So there are 22 stages. Like you have, I guess you can't do all 22 stages in one itinerary, unless otherwise you're like a crazy hiker who wants to just do hiking. So the hikes could be like in Kandy, in Hatton, in Nuwara. I mean, like the hikes are like scattered around the hill country of Sri Lanka. Okay, so the train journey. So the train journey is a very important part of our Sri Lanka itinerary as well. So once you are done with Kandy, then of course we go into the proper hill country. Of course, Kandy is a hill country town as well. But once you move out of Kandy, like it's just about like relaxing. So itinerary wise, thinking about running around in the cultural triangle, cycling, hiking, and then more hiking, and then walking trails in Kandy. So the hill country part of the itinerary is where we take a breather. So you go into tea trails, take a couple of nights off, be pampered, really ensure to property, like amazing views, food is amazing, the views are great. So this is more like a breather to your round trip in Sri Lanka, but still it's not just about not doing anything. So here you can do like tea factory tours, walk in the tea trails, cycling in the tea trails. If you want to be more active, then kayaking in reservoirs are there as well. So I just put this map there, like in this presentation, so that you can see how the train snakes around in different cities. So if you are coming from Kandy to Nuwara, you would directly go from Kandy to Nuwara, just like like if you just draw a direct line. So, but as you can see, going from Kandy to Nuwara, the train snakes through Hatton. So, which means if you are driving from Kandy to Nuwara, it is much quicker. So, when we say train rides in Sri Lanka, this is the most important part that we are talking about. So everybody is seeing on Instagram and then in other social media. So if somebody is talking about train journeys in Sri Lanka, this is the part that they're talking about, because we have other trains going to Galle, the south coast, towards the east coast, to Jaffna, the north. So those ones are okay, but can't compare to the natural beauty that we have in the hill country. So Kandy to Hatton, the train journey would be 2.5 hours. Hatton to Nuwara would be 1.5 hours. From Nuwara to Alla, again another 2.5 hours. So again, Kandy to Hatton 2.5, Hatton to Nuwara 1.5, Nuwara to Alla 2.5. So if you do the train journey from Kandy to Alla, as you might have guessed by now, it is going to be a very, very long journey for them, 6.5 to 7 hours. So because of that, we do not do the entire train journey unless somebody is like super crazy about the trains, because as you can see from these photos, the trains in Sri Lanka are not super luxury like the ones that you have in UK or Europe. So they are vintage trains that have been in use, but comfortable seats, clean washrooms, but we always bring the expectations levels of the clients down to the correct level. Don't expect any luxuries in the trains in Sri Lanka. And then luggage storage is very limited as well, unless otherwise you're just having a handbag. So the luggage will travel with the chauffeur in the vehicle. Say, like you're doing Kandy to Nuwara train journey, your chauffeur guide, your client's chauffeur guide will drop them off in Kandy, show them to the seats, and then drive to Nuwara to meet the clients. So Hummingbird came up with another concept called the Hummingbird Train Butler, because this is not a common experience. We created it ourselves, so you can't book this anywhere else. So what we did was, like, we got a historian and then a very interesting personality to travel with our guests in the train, because we found out that like we earlier, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, we used to drop the clients at the train station and then show them to their seats, and then the clients would be alone all the way to their destination. So we were missing out on this amazing story that we could have told to our clients, because they would be going past railway stations which are like 100 years old, going through national parks, waterfalls right next to them, forest patches. So there is an amazingly beautiful story, because why this train line was built was because British built it so that they could bring the tea that they grew in the hill country back to Colombo, so that it could be shipped off to UK. So that's the kind of story. I mean, like, it's just like a couple of lines that I said, but there is a beautiful story behind it. So this is a 9-arch bridge that we have. A little expert tip. So if you are taking your clients from Kandy to Alla, and if you want the clients to go over the 9-arch bridge, don't let them get off Alla station, because if you get off Alla station, you will miss this. Let them get off the next station, which is the Demodara station. So if you are doing from Kandy to Alla, it should be Kandy to Demodara. But if you are doing the railway journey in reverse, then of course it shouldn't be Alla to Kandy, it should be Demodara to Kandy. Okay, so in Kandy we have so many beautiful properties like Kandy House, W15, but I chose Santani Wellness so that I can talk a little bit about wellness as well. So Santani is way up in the mountains, 1 hour away from the city. So one of the best, I would say, Ayurveda wellness places in Asia. So without a doubt, the best that we have in Sri Lanka. So the treatments are amazing. But again, this is not for everyone, I would say, because it is an acquired taste. But those who go there, they fall in love with the place. Why I said it's not for everyone, because the rooms are very minimalistic. So it is not the tea trails kind of vibe you would find here. So we always explain the concept of the property to our guests. This is one of the best places that we have when it comes to food. Actually, it's almost like fine dining. Okay, now we move on to the hill country. Okay, so when it comes to the hill country, we already talked about Hatton, Noreli, and Alla. So I thought I would put in Haputale as well, because Totalagala is in Haputale, and then T-Trails, the Resplendent Ceylon guys, they are coming up with a new property in Haputale as well. So Haputale would be another town for you to look at. So we would not put all these destinations into the itinerary unless otherwise somebody really wants to take it slow and then they are in love with the hill country. So after Kandy, we would pick one of these destinations. So it could be Hatton if you have the most luxurious clients, because Ceylon T-Trails is there. But if they want to, like do some hikes, be active, then of course I would say go to Alla. Norelia, I would send clients because in Norelia the temperature drops down. It is one of the most coldest cities. I mean, like not from your standards, but from us Sri Lankan standards, where it is like 32 degrees sauna type of weather throughout the entire year. For us, Norelia is like very cold, but maybe not for you. But it's a bit of a difference when it comes to Colombo and Norelia. And yes, moving on, in Alla we have Little Adams Peak. So this is like a smaller hike that we have that the clients can walk up to. So when you are walking up to Little Adams Peak, you will find this pool club that is there, which has live music playing, a pool that you can pay a daily fee and then jump in, have a little bit of a, I mean, like it's a vibrant place for adventure clients and then who wants to have a nice time. And then kayaking can be done in Hatton, in the Castle Reservoir, and then in Norelia as well. And then the Ceylon tea tour can be done anywhere in the hill country. So without a doubt, the best tea tour that we have is in Ceylon Tea Trails, because it is an amazingly, I would say it is an amazing hosted experience, because in all the other normal tea factories that we have, like in Alla or in Norelia, it's like a repeated speech that the hosts, I wouldn't call them hosts, but the people who are hosting the experience would do. So you would really feel the difference when you go and do the tea factory tour in Ceylon Tea Trails. Okay, so for the hill country, I thought I would talk about Ceylon Tea Trails. So as you know, there are 5 bungalows. So Ceylon Tea Trails is not just one building. So it's a collection of 5 bungalows located in 4 different mountains. So the best I would say would be Dunkel for me, but Dunkel is not the best for some people, because some say it has a bit of a dark vibe to it because of the interior and then the furniture. But for me, I like Dunkel because of its elevation, the pool, the view, the infinity view, and then it has one of the best, sorry, I would say rooms, which is called the owner's cottage, which is a standalone room, which is away from the main house. So it is the best room that they have in Ceylon Tea Trails. So when we say, like in itineraries, it's going to be like a master suite or a garden suite. So we always go for the best bungalows. But if you have any bungalows that you want to, like if you like, let us know. We can focus on those, because otherwise we would go for, if they are looking for a garden suite, we would go for Castlereagh all the time. If we want a master suite, we would always go for Dunkel. So likewise, we have our favorites depending on the view and then where it is located. Okay, moving on to Yala. So going into Yala, I would say from Hatton is the easiest, not the cheapest though. The most expensive scheduled flight is from Hatton to the south coast. So here we have from Tea Trails or Camellia Hills, you can fly to Hambantota, which is like 1 hour away from Yala. So the clients who are staying over at Ceylon Tea Trails, if they want to go to Chaina Huts, they would fly from there to Chaina Huts and then enjoy the wildlife. So if somebody has been around the world, been to like all the national parks, like the famous ones like Serengeti, Masai Mara, and they are so focused on the wildlife experience, I shouldn't be saying this, but I would say stay away from Yala, because the safari experience could be better in some other parks. But Yala is so famous. If your clients are looking for that, like really beautiful photo of the leopards, then I would say, go to Yala, because the leopards, bears, and elephants in Yala are so used to the jeeps. They would just walk in front of the jeep, just lie there right in front of the jeep, and then they wouldn't care even if the jeeps are like very close by. So alternatives to Yala would be Vilpattu National Park, which we talked about, and then we have Kumana National Park. We'll be talking about Kumana later on. And in Yala National Park, we can see the big three, just like in Vilpattu, like leopard, bear, and elephants. So this is Chaina Huts. So Chaina Huts is, there is only one room category there. So as you can see from these photos, the room is very spacious, very modern, and then all the rooms have private plunge pools. Inside the room, you can put a minimum of 2 additional beds. If you want to pack it up, you can put 3 additional beds as well, but I wouldn't recommend it. So why I was talking about additional beds is because this is ideal for families actually. So if you want the kids to be in your own room, to be in your same room, then of course this could be a good one. If the kids are grown up, of course they could stay in their own room. So the rangers are really good at Chaina Huts as well. So the ranger services are there at Chaina Huts, Wild Coast, then Hilton Yala, then the tented camps like Leopard Trails, Leopard Safaris. So these are like the best properties that we have, which has a really good ranger service. I mean, like we don't use that word ranger very usually, because there are naturalists and then there are rangers, because these guys, some of these guys are like Fugaza trained, certified, and then they have amazing hosting capabilities. Even though you don't see a leopard or a bear, there's so much interest that they can generate in the guests by maybe showing a tree, like showing pug marks of leopards. So they really know how to keep the conversation going in a safari. Okay, so then moving on to the south and western coast, we have the beach towns. So just like in the hill country, we do not promote all these. I mean, like, we don't try to incorporate all these beach towns into the itinerary, unless otherwise the clients want to, like stay in different beaches during their program in Sri Lanka. So Tangol, I've put first because that's where one of the best properties in Sri Lanka is at Aman Valla. So for Aman junkies, we put a little bit of a line. I mean, like Aman, without a doubt, is one of the best properties that we have in Sri Lanka. But we always say, don't expect the international Aman brand in Sri Lanka. Okay, now that I've said it, it's a big statement that I made, but it's not bad. I would say if the international Aman brands are like 100%, I would say here it would be like 95%. So because of that, because this is purely based on guest comments actually. So we have got comments where like clients have said they have stayed at better Amans in other countries, but still, like I said earlier, the best beach property that we have in Sri Lanka is with Aman. So the rooms are really beautiful. We'll be talking about Aman later on, and then I will talk about that. So in Tangol, we have the Anantara Tangol. This picture is of that property, so which is a resort property. They have villas with private butler service. All the villas have private plunge pools. Amazing for like families looking, or friends traveling together, and then looking to like buy out a large number of rooms. And then we have Valigama with Cape Valigama, another really ancient property that we have in Sri Lanka. Then Talpe is very famous for villas. We have Villa Ahasa and Villa Sulanga, 3-bedroom villas, and then Sismusi is there, 2-bedroom. So let me know if you are interested in villas, because I won't be talking about villas here because I quite frankly don't have time. So Bentota is famous because Bentota is like the playground of Jeffrey Bawa. So Jeffrey Bawa I'll be talking about later on. And then Bentota, yes, I'll be talking about Bentota later on. So this is Aman Valla. So all the rooms are identical, but they have 4 room categories. The room categories are, the only difference is the view actually. So they have garden, ocean, ocean hill, and premium room. So depending on where the rooms are located, the view is different. I would say the only downside of Aman Valor is because all these rooms have private plunge pools. The plunge pool is at the back. I really don't understand that concept because the plunge pool is like without a view at the back, surrounded by a wall. To see how a view, you have to look up. But if the pool was at the front, would have been amazing. But again, guys, I'm just giving you the good and the bad because so that way, like you can decide which is best, not just my point of view of what's best in Sri Lanka. So don't get me wrong, I love Amman. I've stayed there so many times. I would go over and over again. So again, the best beach property that we have in Sri Lanka. So I thought I would throw in Harita Villas as well because just like Santani, so like most of the time when it comes to wellness itineraries, people would say, I want an itinerary for 14 nights, 7 nights in one place, 7 nights in another place. So Santani, 7 nights in the hill country, and then down on the coast, we have Harita Villas. So mind you, Harita Villas is not on the beach, 10 minutes away from the beach. They provide free shuttle service. Two room categories, contemporary villas like the one onto your right hand side. The room is really tastefully done, private plunge pools. And then the photo to your left is of the colonial mansions. There are two colonial mansions. One is a 1-bedroom one and the other one is a 2-bedroom one. No kids allowed, but like case by case, we can make an exception if you really want to send your kids, your guests with kids. Ayurveda is a really big topic here. So they have 7-night, 14-night, 21-night Ayurveda packages as well. And then the feedback had been really amazing when it comes to Ayurveda. Okay, so next we have Golf Fort. So if you are sending your clients to Golf Fort, it is purely for the lifestyle experience. So inside the Golf Fort, okay, the Golf Fort is a 400-year-old fort which was first built by the Portuguese, then the Dutch expanded it, and then the British expanded it further and then rebuilt certain areas as well. So it has an amazing history. And then so why somebody would go to Golf Fort is for a Golf Fort walk with a resident expert, and then he would take you around for 1.5 hours. Or else for families, we have experiences like mass carving, mass painting. And if you are interested in family travel, drop me an email. I will have my email address at the end because we finalized our Hummingbird Kids brochure. So it has an amazing collection of experiences which we curated just for the kids. So because family travel is very important for us, so we've curated some amazing experiences for the kids. So these are some of the experiences that you can do while you're staying inside Golf Fort. The Golf Fort walk, which I talked about, and also the mass painting. And we have some village cycling experiences as well, so which we take you into the village life of Galle. So property-wise, we have Amangala, then Golf Fort Hotel, Fort Bazaar. Then we have the villas. So there are so many boutique options inside the Golf Fort. Out of that, I would say Amangala, without a doubt, is the best property that we have. So for your high-end guests, I would always recommend going for the suites or the Amangala suite because very spacious, the view is better, and then those are the recommended rooms. And at Amangala, we have Ayurveda treatments as well. Okay, Colombo. So I thought whether I should talk about Colombo at the beginning or at the end. So I thought let's start off with the culture first and then finish off with Colombo. So Colombo, as I told you, is the starting and ending place. So when I say Colombo, this is not exactly the point where the Colombo airport is at. So it is like a 1-hour drive from the Colombo city to the airport, but like both are called Colombo actually. So if the clients really want to get technical with you, you would have to explain it to them. So these are some of the experiences that we have. So as you may know, Colombo is like very busy. It's a commercial hub, lots of vehicles, lots of noise. It's very hot. So we tend to do an experience called the After Dark Tales of Colombo in the evening. So when the sun is setting, we take our clients out, and then the setting of the experience is totally different. Less noise, the heat is not that big of a issue. And then we go into temples which are about to close down. where they have ceremonies, and then we go into street food areas. We showcase how different religions coexist harmoniously in the city of Colombo. So it's a very vibrant experience which a local will be hosting. So like I said, street food experience is there. So we could couple up the after dark tales with a little bit of street food, or else if somebody is a foodie, then of course we can go crazy and then create a entire evening of street food experience where we would go from place to place, you know, like tasting different Sri Lankan street food. And then we have the local home cooking experience, which is called the Spice Coast Crab and Arak Soiri. So this is something that we created out of a necessity where to give a local home visit. So your clients would be visiting a local home, the mother and the daughter would be cooking, amazing host, and then the father would be there to entertain the, I wouldn't want to say, you know, like the gent only, but if the gent is into cooking, the lady can join into a little bit of Arak tasting, or else vice versa. So it is an amazingly curated experience. We've got tons of amazing feedback from them as well. So this is not in the heart of the city. It is like a 20 to 25-minute drive. So which means after dinner, you'll have to drive for like 20 minutes to get to your hotel. So Uga Residence and Maniampati would be like the two properties. So normally I would put just one property, but I thought I would give you two options because, like I've said, I have to be frank, Uga Residence, we've been getting complaints of you know, like not large issues, but we are seeing signs of issues. So we've addressed this to the management, and then they are going into a refurbishment in April. So I would say, you know, like this is one of the best locations in Colombo. Really big rooms, and then tastefully done. It's just that it's time to, you know, like replace certain things, and then make sure that they have the correct people operating the property as well. So therefore, you know, like depending on how many nights you're staying, if it is just one night, it's perfectly fine. But if you try to spend more and more nights, then of course you tend to see certain things. So therefore, we would have Maniampati as well. So completely different concepts. So Uga Residence would be like very contemporary, very modern, but Maniampati is like colonial vibe. So if you want more details about these properties, let me know. And then we have Valawa. So Valawa is not located in Colombo, but it is the closest property that we have, which is the closest property to the Colombo airport that we have. Just 20 minutes away. So if your clients are arriving midnight or like very late in the night, then of course they wouldn't want to go to Colombo because it wouldn't make sense driving there to Colombo just for one night. So might as well do a 20-minute drive and go to Valawa, and then the recommended room category would be like the garden suite. But if you have like a family who is looking to stay there, I would say go for the Mountbatten suite, which has a separate twin room as opposed to the double room, master double room as well. Plus the Mountbatten suite has a private plunge pool in the garden. Okay, quickly I will run through the East Coast as well. So when it comes to the East Coast, we have these 4 destinations. Trincomalee and Pasiguda are predominantly beach destinations. So once you go there, it's all about relaxing, and then there are some cultural activities, snorkeling, diving, whale watching that you can do. So if you want more details, let me know. So for Trincomalee, the main attraction in Trincomalee, apart from the beach, would be the whale watching, which happens from May to October. And then just like this photo shows, there is this beautiful Hindu temple called Koneshwaram Temple, located inside a Dutch fort called Fort Frederick. So this is a cultural activity if somebody wants to go out and make a half a day out of it. So Pasiguda is like a beach destination where, you know, like hotel next to a hotel next to a hotel kind of a destination. So in Trincomalee we have, sorry, in Trincomalee I couldn't tell you the hotel. In Trincomalee we have Uga Jungle Beach, and in Pasiguda we have Uga Bay as the best properties. And then we have Galloya. So Galloya is an inland location. So this is in the Ampara district. So how you can incorporate Galloya into the itinerary is like we have several options. So you come to Culture Triangle, the Sigiri area, and then go to Kandy, and from Kandy you can go to Galloya, going towards the eastern side, and then after that come to Alla for the what you call the hill country experience. Or else if you do that option, then of course you are missing out on the train experience. But if you want to do the train as well, what I would say is like from Kandy, go to the hill country for the train experience and then the tea experience. Come to Alla, not staying anywhere else. From Alla, go to Galloya, and then from Galloya you can come down to Yala. A little bit of a backtrack, but still you can fit in the train in that way as well. So Galloya has two properties, Galloya Lodge and Wild Glamping. So Wild Glamping is part of the Alia, Malu Malu, those kind of properties. The same owner owns Wild Glamping as well. So just a little bit of a quick overview of Galloya. The main attraction is a boat ride, where you might be able to see, like elephants swimming right next to your boat. So it is one of the top sellers when it comes to Galloya. And then the jungle cooking class at Galloya Lodge, really big sellers for us. So Arugambe is a backpacker destination. So here the best property I would say is like Jetwing Surf. And then from here to Kumara National Park is 1 hour 10 minutes. Kumara National Park I will talk about in a little bit. Adams Peak I will quickly go through. So the Adams Peak, the season is from December to May. Again, December to May. So during the season, the lights will be on in the mountain, and therefore it is a night hike. So the main attraction is go to the top of the mountain before the sunrise and watch the sunrise. So that's why everybody goes to the top. So the locals go to the top because it's like a pilgrimage, and the Buddhists believe it's the footprint of Lord Buddha. The Catholics believe it's the footprint of Adam. So I mean, like so many different beliefs, but everybody goes to the top for different reasons. So to do Adams Peak, I would say Tea Trails or Camellia Hills would be the ideal location. So if you're doing the night hike, then of course have a leisurely dinner at Tea Trails, and then after that drive to Adams Peak, which is like 1 hour away, and then do the hike, and then by around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, you're back at the property. Okay, golf trails. So golf is very, I would say, prominent in Sri Lanka as well. Not like in Seychelles or Mauritius, but still Sri Lanka is very famous for golf. We have 4 golf courses in Colombo, Kandy, Norelia, and Hambantota. So Hambantota golf course is inside the Shangri-La Hambantota resort. So since it is the newest golf course, it is in the best condition based on the golf pros in Sri Lanka. Okay. So this is where I talk a little bit about the negative sides of tourism in Sri Lanka, just so that you can avoid certain complaints from the clients. So Sigiriya Rock Fortress is the most visited site, like I said earlier. Because of that, there are busloads of tourists that are coming in. But to avoid that, if somebody really wants to go to Sigiriya, what we say is like go very early. The site opens at 5:30 in the morning. So if you're there before around 7:30, then of course you can avoid the crowds. And then as you can see inside the Yala National Park, of course you can get a sighting of leopard, but it's madness. So we are just seeing one side of the photo, then behind the person who took the photo could be like surrounded by another 20 jeeps as well. So this could be a huge turnoff for clients who are looking for a good safari experience. So that's why I say Vilpattu or Kumana would be better than Yala. So this is Kumana National Park. Mind the location in the map. So this is at the other side of the island of Sri Lanka. So Kumana National Park, I would say, is my favorite national park in the entire country because it is so quiet in that park. And then you get a lot of leopard, bear, and elephant sightings in there as well. So long ago, maybe like 800, 900 years ago, there was an ancient civilization inside the Kumara National Park. If the clients want to walk around, get down from the jeep, walk around, look at some ancient ruins, they can do that as well. So Kumana could be a mixture of culture, walking around trails, and then wildlife kind of an experience as well. So quickly, I will talk about Jeffrey Bava. So Jeffrey Bava died in 2003 at the age of about 89, 90, if I'm not mistaken. So he was quite simply amazing. So every architect in Sri Lanka right now wants to be like Jeffrey Bava. And then he created so many properties. He created so many secret gardens around the country as well. The first 2 images on the top is from Lunuganga. So that was his country estate. So that was his playground. So he would keep on changing the country estate. He would be experimenting on different projects inside his own estate, changing the walls, changing the garden layouts. So if you want to do a Jeffrey Bauer tour, then of course, if you want to do a like a 7-night tour, then I would say go for Colombo and Bentota, because Bentota is like the hub of Jeffrey Bauer. So Jeffrey had a brother called Bevis, so he's not very popular because Jeffrey is like so popular. So Bevis had a garden as well called the Brief Garden. So if we are doing a Bauer tour, we take our guests to the Brief Garden as well. So when it comes to staying over in Bentota for Bauer tours, we always keep the clients at Lunaganga. They recently added the swimming pool, not the pool that you see here. It's a small pond actually. So they added a pool, the rooms are air conditioned, very old school type. So they maintain the place as a museum. So actually you might see certain walls with moss. I mean, like just like the one on the top left corner. So you would think that why can't they, like get a bucket of paint and paint these walls? No, this is not the concept. They would maintain the place exactly how it was like when Jeffrey Bauer was alive. So the bottom right picture is from his residence in Colombo. So they do tours in Colombo. They have accommodation there as well. But I mean, like if you want more information, let me know. I wouldn't recommend staying there for certain reasons. So again, if you want more information, let me know. So Gallery Cafe is there in Colombo, which was his office, converted into a cafe right now. Larger properties are there scattered around, which he had built, like Kandalama, Bentara Beach, Jetwin Lighthouse. Then the only church that he built is in Bandaravela called the Nazareth Church as well. So these are some of the new hotel openings. I will quickly run through. I'm running out of time. So Uga Haluella is coming up in Hatton in the Norwood Mountain. So which is the top left corner picture. It is a rendering actually, not the actual picture. And 6 rooms there. Kotiagala in Yala, which is next to Hilton Yala. Down below the bottom picture, again another rendering, opening up in April. 10 1-bedroom pool villas, 2 2-bedroom pool villas, and then they are focusing on wellness as well. So all the rooms have private plunge pools. So we are really looking forward to that, because it's going to be a good competition for Chena Huts and Wild Coast as well. So I just got to know that the Water Garden Sigiri people are putting up a property in Kandy, which is coming up in 2024, villas with private plunge pools. So very excited about that project as well. So like me and the ladies from the team, so the team is much bigger. We just took this photo when we were down in Gaul Literary Festival last month. So the account managers is a concept that we are really following, where if you start working with Hummingbird, we would assign an account manager to you so that you can work with this person throughout, so that you don't have to keep on repeating your way of working, like how we want the itineraries, how we want the costings, everything. So you don't have to keep on repeating. There would be a dedicated account manager. So working hours like are very flexible. So we have from 9 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. So I do the graveyard shift. I come around 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the afternoon and work until like 11 o'clock, 12 midnight. So these are some of the vehicles from our these are some of the vehicles that we have. So the luxury SUVs, there are Range Rovers, Discovery 4s, Land Cruisers, Monteros, and Prados in the premium category. And also we have luxury and deluxe vans. In the luxury category, we have the Mercedes-Benz Vito, which can take up to 4 people. We do where to itineraries where we can white label this with your company logos, with your company contact numbers, so that you can send this itinerary link directly to your clients. Nothing will be mentioned about Hummingbird in this itinerary, which is a very interactive itinerary actually. So you can click and go into different photos, expand the map, look which route you're going to take. So if you know where to, you know what I'm talking about. So the guide training programs, the last 2 or 3 slides, guys. So the last guide training program is something that we do every 6 months. We are training our guides. We are handpicking. So this is like my 18th year in the industry. So I've been working at so many different companies, and I've handpicked so many really good guides, which we are keeping in our portfolio. And then we keep on training them, because the industry keeps on changing. The requirements of our agents keep on changing. So this is what we are like incorporating into them as knowledge during the guide training programs. So we do not use any single-use plastics or glass water bottles are there. So you do have the option of either still water or sparkling water to be inside the vehicle. And then we have the welcome pack. It is not just a itinerary and a guest comment sheet. So we have wraparounds where we tell the clients, don't worry about what to wear for the temples. So in temples in Sri Lanka, you need to cover your shoulders and your knees, but we say, don't worry about that. Wear a short, wear a tank top, so we will take care of it. So you can throw this wraparound around your shoulder or wrap it around your waist. And then we have hand sanitizers, then insect repellents, and then disposable socks, because in the cultural and religious sites, especially in religious sites, you have to remove your footwear and before going in there, so it could be very hot. So we have disposable socks that we can give, a gift box, like postcards. I mean, like there's a huge collection of things that go into the welcome pack. And then we do provide 3 on-tour updates at the beginning of the tour. When the clients arrive, we talk to the guests to check if everything is okay. Whether, I mean, like we would be talking to them once they check into the first hotel to ask whether the vehicle is okay, whether the guide is up to their standards. So all these questions will be asked, and then we would send you a comprehensive update on to you about the clients being in Sri Lanka. And then we do the same thing at the mid stage. I mean, like halfway through the tour and then towards the end as well. So why we do this is because we understand some clients, they don't complain, but by the time they go back home, they will start complaining to you. So we want to ask these questions, and like if they have any problems, try to solve those problems right in Sri Lanka, so that we can provide solutions to them rather than like going back and complaining. So that way, once once the clients go back, if you are doing a follow-up call, you would know exactly what happened with these on-tour updates. Mice and cruisers are there, like we have a different team. If you are doing those, let me know. Then private jet tours we handle. So again, if you're doing, let me know. I will go into more details later on individually. We do weddings, not the large ones, but intimate, like eloping weddings, private villas, different concepts, different themes. So we can recreate. I mean, like there is no limit. I mean, like the limit would be only your budget, but we can go nuts with wedding themes and where we can do actually. So there are certain experiences and excursions that we do not promote in Sri Lanka, because when it comes to animals, we are very we are very strict. So we don't do elephant back rides, bullock cart rides, swimming with the whales, night bird watching. So if you want to know why we don't do those things, let me know. Again, be happy to go into more detail. And the final slide. So we do the okay, so we talk about this only in presentations like this. So we don't post these things on like our websites, because it's something that we do in the background. So every time you confirm a booking to us, we keep a part of our profit to sponsor an orphan kid in the SOS Children's Village. I mean, like you can type that name into Google and then it'll take you to the local orphanage that we help. And then women empowerment projects are there. So I mean, like in certain parts of Sri Lanka, like it's a little bit backward, I would say, because women are expected to stay at home, take care of the kids, take care of the home. So these women, they have dreams which they couldn't realize. So now what we're trying to do is, like through local foundations and charity organizations, we are trying to teach them a trade. So some of them are like 40 years old, 50 years old, but still we are trying to like give them an education on training, so that way they can go home and start sewing some like clothes for their like neighbors and earn some living. So that is like just the like tip of the iceberg. We have so many projects. Let me know if you want more information. So yeah, that's about it. Thanks. Liv?
Amazing. I think you covered everything in Sri Lanka, which is exactly what people want to know all about. So because of that, we actually don't really have any questions. So I think you obviously covered everything, but if anyone does think of something now, then quickly ask us. Otherwise, afterwards, you can send us an email to Sanka directly, and he can get back to you on that. But yes, we won't take any more of your time, everyone, but thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much to Sanka for going through everything about Sri Lanka and so many things that this beautiful country has to offer. And hopefully we're flooded with loads of inquiries now. And yeah, I think with Sanka's expert knowledge, it'll be very hard for yeah, you to not be able to sell it as such an amazing destination. And I think that 2024 is the real comeback year for Sri Lanka, and we're already seeing that, as Sanka has said. So yeah, we're getting lots of nice messages, Sanka, saying thank you, that was absolutely amazing. So yeah, everyone definitely enjoyed it. So thank you so much again. And yes, please stay tuned for our next Sri Lanka with Sanka webinar, which will be coming up in the next couple months.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks very much. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.